You're doing your best and it may not feel good enough, but you're still their world and it's more than enough for them. Because that was one thing I remember I saw it somewhere on Facebook where they said, if you feel like you're failing as a mom, that means you're doing your job right because you care enough to worry about failing.
Today I'm here with Myranda Akin, who's going to talk all about inducing lactation with her newly adopted son and just share her story and everything that she has done up until this point. So Myranda, starting off, if you just want to introduce yourself and just kind of tell us your story.
I'm Myranda. I have a beautiful 4-year-old daughter and a very new, almost 1-month-old son. I have been married to my husband for 7 years. We had to do infertility treatments to have my daughter. We did infertility treatments almost exactly a year ago and that failed. So we dropped about $15,000 on infertility treatments that failed. And then we got into the adoption process. And it's got us where we are.
So you started your induced lactation, you started that process months ahead of time to kind of get ready for it. What was your process and how did you do that?
I followed the Newman-Goldfarb method. We start with birth control to mimic pregnancy for quite a few months. And they say that anywhere from 6 weeks on up, stop the birth control. And along with the birth control, you should be taking some form of hormone lactation inducing something, either the Reglan or Dompradone. I chose Dompradone. To go into that a little bit, Reglan kind of crosses the mental barrier a little bit more. So if you're suffering from anxiety or depression, it's more likely to amplify those. So I chose Dompradone and was on that until about 13 weeks before I was born. Got off the birth control, upped my dose of Dompradone, added in a few herbs like goat's rue, blessed thistle, all that stuff, and started pumping every 2 hours for 30 minutes. And continued that up until the day he was born. And then as soon as he was born, latched him on, and that was that.
Wow, that's so amazing. I think it's something that many women need to hear, that it's a process and that it can be done. And I think that's so cool that you knew you had a goal and you just did it.
I never got a full supply. I'm making about half of what he needs now. The birth mom pumps for me and gives me some of her milk. So I supplement. This is my system here. This is called a lactate. It's a SNS, or Supplementary Nursing System. And it's got a straw here that goes into the breast milk and then a small tube here that leads in to his mouth. And then he's sucking on my breast. He's sucking the breast milk from the tube as well as from what he gets from my breast.
So then he's not getting like nipple confusion either by like switching to the bottle. He's always on you.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
He's helping my supply because I was making about 9 ounces a day when he was born. And now I'm out to probably 12 to 13 ounces a day. So inducing lactation, a lot of the things that you can go through, the steps and stuff, can be applied to low supply. A lot of the medication or the herbs that I take, if you have a low supply, you can also take them and have them help your supply. It's possible to even relactate if you stop breastfeeding when they were like 6 weeks old. They're now 6 months old. It's a lot easier for a mom who's given birth even that recently to use these same kind of steps to get their milk back if they want to. I wish more hospitals and lactation consultants and doctors would preach the word of an SNS tube and how great they can be if you want to breastfeed and you're not quite succeeding.
Yeah, I just say the first time I heard it was when you mentioned it as well. I had never heard of that. And I think that's so powerful what you're just saying, because I hear so many moms talk about how either if they didn't have milk right away, the doctor right away was like, here's formula, or maybe they did for a couple months and then it wasn't coming in, so they were told just to use formula anyway. So I think that's so cool that you're saying, hey, at any point you could reinduce your lactation, and just knowing that it's kind of back in the mom's hands. Probably helps too that his birth mother, you said, lives close by, or you have a good relationship with her, that she pumps for you as well. So do you think that helps too, that he's still getting breast milk as well?
Oh, for sure. The first couple days he was born, we didn't see her for a few days, and she was just stocking up breast milk for me, and he hadn't pooped in a few days because my milk, I don't have the colostrum, and the colostrum is a natural laxative. So I didn't have all of that in it. So as soon as I went over and got that, and the first feed, it was like within an hour and a half later, here he goes, a couple days worth of poop. Woohoo! But it's been great having her milk because it's been age appropriate milk that I'm able to give him up until now, where it doesn't matter as much and I'm taking in other donors.
You mentioned now you have another donor. I know you can go through milk banks as well. Is that something you've done before, or you got a recommendation from someone?
This one was a friend of a friend. A friend of mine used her for her own daughter before she turned 1. And she says, I still have some extra breast milk if you know anybody that needs it. And so she gave me 150 ounces. But once I run low, I'll be going through human milk for human babies, or eats on feets, or eats for feets, or whatever it was like that for my state, and hope to find somebody that will continue to supply. With my daughter, my milk didn't come in until 5 days after I had her. And so I was pumping like crazy along with breastfeeding. And so I ended up saving up a couple 100 ounces and had them in my freezer just in case something happened with my supply again. And then I went through human milk for human babies, and I found somebody else on base. This was when my husband was still in the military, and was able to donate to her. She used it through an SNS to feed her daughter.
I keep hearing about milk banks out there that are just really helping moms in need. So that's awesome that you were able to give to someone.
It's one of those things that if you have extra milk, consider donating it. A lot of people are like, well, I can't donate to the hospital because they have all of these rules and regulations. You can't be on any medication. You have to be this, that, and the other thing. And they are fussy with it. I mean, they have reason to be, obviously. And they don't know what to do with the milk. And a lot of times it'll just sit in their freezer for years on end, or they'll throw it away. But if you have extra milk, look up human milk for human babies and whatever the other one is for your state, and donate it, because there are so many moms that need the milk. Babies with certain allergies that they can't have formula, that they're living on breast milk, and there are very few donors that are donating right now.
Yeah, that's such an important message, because I think so many moms feel like they don't have another option. You've really helped open up and show people that that's not the end. There's so many other options for you to. So I always like to have each interview kind of end with fun thinking questions, I call them. So if you could have a billboard made today where you could share one tip with moms everywhere, what would you have it say?
You're doing your best, and it may not feel good enough, but you're still their world, and it's more than enough for them. Because that was one thing I remember I saw it somewhere on Facebook where they said, if you feel like you're failing as a mom, that means you're doing your job right, because you care enough to worry about failing.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing with me today. I know I'm excited to share it with everyone, because I think a lot of people will be inspired by your message. Just, there's always options out there, and just to listen to their gut about a lot of things. So thank you.
Thank you. I love sharing this because I've inspired moms, and it makes me so happy, because I've loved breastfeeding the 2 years I went with my daughter, and now the month with him, and it's such a great journey and such an amazing bonding opportunity. If I can help somebody get back to that, if they really want to get back to that, that is my goal. Fed baby is the best baby, but if you want to breastfeed, I want to help you breastfeed.
Awesome. I love that. I think that's so great. I think that's just a message so many moms need to hear.